It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update, as there were two surprise returns on AEW Rampage. WWE crown a brand new champion, and WWE have plans in place for Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. And if you haven't already, make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe so you don't miss the latest wrestling news. Let's start with some news of an AEW signing, as a former UFC fighter is set to become All Elite. Over recent months, Paige VanZant has made sporadic appearances on AEW television as part of American Top Team led by Dan Lambert. She is now scheduled for a segment on the upcoming St. Patrick's Day Slam edition of Dynamite on March 16th, where she will sign an AEW contract. VanZant's last appearance on Dynamite came last month when she confronted Brandi Rhodes, which appeared to be setting up a match. This was then followed by the news that both Brandi and Cody Rhodes had left AEW, forcing them to go in a different direction. Paige has long expressed an interest in professional wrestling, and it appears that she will now be moving on from combat sports to a new career path. This follows a recent run in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, where she fought twice and lost twice. She has expressed an interest in continuing MMA, where she currently holds a pro record of 8 wins and 5 losses, although it's unclear if she will fight in MMA whilst competing in AEW. Next up, let's go to some Major League Wrestling news, as a new title belt is coming to the promotion. MLW would take to their website today to reveal that they are set to introduce a Women's Featherweight Championship. The belt is said to be in the design process, with no word on when it will come to MLW television. MLW would take to their website to say, "League officials have been meeting with Cesar Duran as El Jeff looks to rev up the women's featherweight division in the coming weeks and months ahead. In fact, MLW has learned that the first women's featherweight championship is being designed. Who will make history and claim it?" MLW are coming off the back of a successful super fight show in Charlotte, North Carolina, which saw the return of Killer Cross, who defeated Bud Heavy in singles action. Earlier this week, AEW star Ricky Starks would appear in an interview with Josh Martinez on Superstar Crossover. Despite being a member of Team Taz, being managed by the Human Suplex Machine, Starks would reveal that he's interested in being led by a certain WWE star. Starks stated that he sees himself being managed by Paul Heyman, comparing himself to a piece of clay, and he would say, "Well, first off, I think the fact that Paul is going to acknowledge me is a good start here. But you know what it is? You know what I actually really like about Paul is the fact that this dude worked his way up from one of the most famous clubs in New York as a photographer to where he is now. I admittedly and selfishly would have loved to have the chance to work with him, because I know the benefits of working with somebody like Paul, even from the stories of my friends that used to work with him. Just knowing that he sees only the positives and how to accentuate that. Bro, I am a piece of clay right now. Could you imagine if Paul Heyman got his hands on me? I would be freaking unstoppable. I'm already on my way to being on stage. What I'm saying is I would have been there a lot quicker." So the personal situation with Paul Heyman is the fact that what a missed opportunity between me and him, don't you think? Whether or not Starks' vision comes to fruition remains to be seen, with both men currently being in different promotions, but who knows what the future holds for Ricky Starks or even Paul Heyman. Over recent weeks, reports have suggested that Vince McMahon was set to compete in a match at WrestleMania, taking on SmackDown announcer Pat McAfee. McAfee would personally offer McAfee a match at Mania during their meeting on the Pat McAfee show, but his opponent wasn't confirmed at the time. On last night's episode of WWE SmackDown, Pat's opponent was revealed, but it wasn't Vince McMahon. Instead, Austin Theory would confront McAfee at ringside, hitting him in the face, knocking his headset off. A match between the two would later be confirmed to take place at WrestleMania next month. There's no word on if this was the plan all along, with WWE perhaps leaking false information to build some hype, although perhaps McMahon will be added to the match later on somehow, but for now it seems his involvement isn't clear. Now let's go to a story regarding this weekend's AEW Revolution pay-per-view, as the final competitor in the face of the Revolution ladder match has been named. Last night's AEW Rampage would see Christian Cage overcome Ethan Page to secure his spot in the match, joining Keith Lee, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Orange Cassidy and FTW champion Ricky Starks. The winner of the face of the Revolution ladder match will earn a shot at the AEW TNT Championship. The AEW TNT title will be on the line at the post-Revolution episode of Dynamite when Sammy Guevara defends against Scorpio Sky. The winner of that will then take on the winner of the ladder match on the March 16th edition of Dynamite, which will be St. Patrick's Day Slam. This week, current WWE Champion Brock Lesnar would speak with Newsday's Alfonso A. Castillo ahead of tonight's Madison Square Garden house show. Lesnar would speak about his passion for professional wrestling, with him wanting to dismiss talk that he is in it for the money. Castillo would point out that fans see Lesnar as a guy who doesn't care about the business and is here for the paycheck. Lesnar would say that his former on-screen persona under the stewardship of Paul Heyman is not necessarily who he is in real life, and he said, "I've put on some great matches in my day, and you don't do that without having a passion for the squared circle. I'm a man that for the last 25 years of my life just wanted to be left alone. I didn't prostitute myself and put myself out there to be vulnerable to the media and be vulnerable to the next person that wanted to stick their claws into me. I just found out that it was easier for me to go and recharge my batteries and go be who I really wanted to be and hide from the world. And hide that from the world. It's just who I am. I'm a private person. I approach my life and fighting and wrestling like this is a job. It's a career. I'm a prize fighter. I get into the octagon or the ring, I do my business and I do it well, and I get paid for it. And so I'm very passionate about the business, but that was my character. For a long time I had Paul Heyman speaking on my behalf. I didn't have to participate on the microphone. I was just a demolition man. I think people, if they could see through all of it, would understand that I've had some really great matches in my career with a lot of different people. You don't go to work and put out a product like that if you don't have passion for it." Lesnar is set to defend his WWE title tonight at Madison Square Garden, with his opponent yet to be announced. He is then set to face WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns in a winner-takes-all title unification match at Night 2 of WrestleMania 38 on April 3rd from the AT&T Stadium. Next, let's go back to AEW, as last night's episode of Rampage saw two major returns. The first return came following Serena Deeb's victory over Layla Gray in the latest 5-minute rookie challenge. Deeb would win in less than 1 minute. After the bout, Deeb would continue to attack her opponent before former AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida made the save with a kendo stick in hand. The fight would spill out onto the ringside area, with Shida focusing on the knee of her foe, before Deeb escaped while security held Shida back. Shida hasn't wrestled on AEW television since the January 12th edition of Dynamite, with her now back to continue her feud with the Woman of 1,000 Holds. Later on in the night, another return would take place to align themselves with the Death Triangle. Pac, Penta Oscuro, and Alex Abrahantes would announce that they had a third man to join them in their match against the House of Black at Revolution this Sunday. This would lead to Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King come to the ring, who assumed that the third man was Abrahantes before a brawl broke out. Eric Redbeard, the former Eric Rowan, would then fight his way through security before the House of Black escaped the ring. This marks Redbeard's second AEW appearance, with him also taking part in the Brody Lee tribute edition of Dynamite in December 2020, showing his respects to his former Wyatt family tag team partner. Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King will now take on Pac, Penta Oscuro, and Eric Redbeard on the buy-in for AEW Revolution on Sunday night. There is no word on if Redbeard has signed a contract with AEW or is simply filling in for the injured Rey Fenix, who will be out for a number of weeks. Next, let's go to another story from last night's episode of SmackDown, where WWE crowned a brand new champion. As announced last week, Ricochet would battle Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title. During the match, Jackass star Johnny Knoxville would distract the champion, allowing Ricochet to pick up the win, beginning his first reign as Intercontinental champ. This brings an end to Zayn's 13-day run with the belt, having defeated Shinsuke Nakamura to win the title. Ricochet's win follows a recent report from PW Insider that the popular star is currently listed as the number 2 babyface on the SmackDown brand on internal documents, second only to former WWE champion Drew McIntyre. This seems to have now been reflected on screen, with him winning the brand's second most prestigious men's championship. And finally, yesterday's video covered a report from Bodyslam.net's Cassidy Haynes that suggests talks between Cody Rhodes and WWE had fizzled out. As you know, Cody would officially leave All Elite Wrestling last month following a breakdown in negotiations over a new contract. He has since reportedly been in talks with WWE for a return, and it seems that this could still be happening. We now have two new reports that contradict Bodyslam.net, coming from Dave Meltzer of The Wrestling Observer, as well as a separate story from Ringside News. First, let's start with the Meltzer report, who wrote in the Observer newsletter this week that WWE Creative are still actively working on plans for Cody Rhodes' WWE return. According to Dave, there is no time frame in place, and unless the deal falls through, Cody will indeed be returning to WWE. On top of this, we now have a report from Ringside News that also suggests that Cody is still WWE bound. Following the report that talks had fizzled out, Ringside would reach out to a source within WWE to confirm the story. A tenured member of the creative team told them, "I know what's scheduled for Cody for Mania, and that is still on the list. If it's changed, no one has told us yet or corrected the internal documents." They were also told that no other information is available, but added that the flow of information backstage in WWE is segmented, disjointed, and purposefully vague. If the report is to be believed, Cody is planned for a WrestleMania appearance, with working plans still in place. And before you go, make sure you check out every released superstar that made it into WWE 2K22.